Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. I'm your host, BX Bad Boy, as always. And today we're going to do a spoiler, just a spoiler alert. We're going to do a review on Godzilla vs. Kong. Stay tuned. As I stated, spoiler alert. I'm going to, if you haven't seen the movie and can't see the movie, I'm going to spoil a few things. One, Mega Godzilla is in this. Two, not the Mega Godzilla us fan knows. Like I says, I got the whole collection except 1985 and maybe a few others. I even got that stupid one with the lizard. That's not Godzilla. Sorry. For those of you who think that's Godzilla, it looks like a fucking iguana. Not Godzilla. That's Godzilla's pet. So now Mega Godzilla doesn't come in until almost the end of the movie, which is good because it gives us the interaction between Kong and Godzilla. Now, if you've ever seen the trailer, they're talking about everybody's headed, and they stated all the monsters are headed towards Skull Island. That you never see Skull Island again. Since Skull Island, no. Kong is captured, and he's inside habitat with a digital screen like Ed TV. But they don't show you his capture. He's just captured. The little girl essentially is captured too, along with Kong, and is all in this habitat, and there's bunks and all this other stuff. He realizes he's in a habitat, and he's getting tired of it, rips off a tree branch like you've seen in the infomercial or the trailer, and throws it at the fucking wall, destroying the digital screen. Now that's just stupid. Okay? Now, the way the girl speaks to him comes out later on when they're on the ship. I'm sure you've seen the trailer when they're on the ship. Is because she speaks sign language and so does Kong. Now, somehow, they think Kong is supposed to lead them to this infamous power source in the hollow earth. And that's supposed to help them power the world. But it actually ends up powering Mega Godzilla. Now, the reason why Godzilla is destroying things, he's not destroying things. He's very precise. He's destroying these people called Apex Cybernetics. And the reason why he's destroying them is because they have Monster Zero, one of his heads. And they're using that head to power Mega Godzilla with telepathy. But it's not strong enough because their power source is just, I guess, man-made, not powerful enough. So they need the Hollow Earth power supply in order to power Mega Godzilla to fight Godzilla. Supposedly it's to protect the Earth from the Titans. Which, mind you, you don't see a Titan in the entire fucking movie. Not other than Godzilla and Kong. Now, the storyline is so twisted, man. So twisted. For those of you who are hardcore Godzilla, the claim was Godzilla was created by nuclear bombs on the island. Then, a few movies later, they go back to that storyline and say they weren't creating Godzilla. Those nuclear bombs and missiles were meant to try to destroy Godzilla. Now, this storyline states Godzilla was not alone. He had an entire race that disappeared, and he's the last one. Same thing with Kong. So convenient. Now, they need Kong to find a power source that gives Godzilla his power, apparently. But every storyline says Godzilla gets his power from nuclear. So he's using QI charging, wireless charging, to charge up. Because the core that supposedly has his energy in it is in the hollow earth, which is near the center of the earth. inside a ecosystem that's untouched, where Godzilla and Kong come from. So he uses QI charging. What the fuck? So when Kong does lead them to this power source, but this is a weird power source. So they get to the Hollow Earth, and there's two parts. If you ever seen Inconception, the word, where they took the dream world and they put one up there and one below where they were walking. That's how the Hollow Earth is, where there's two different worlds parted by a unique gravity field that keeps gravity down on this one, keeps gravity down on this one, and there's a center zone, which is just a float zone. So he starts going, and he sees this fucking mountain piece that's like a monkey's hand, or gorilla's hand, and he realizes he can go there. So he flips over, goes onto the top side, and he keeps going. He's seeing bones everywhere, probably his ancestors or the battles that presided, because when he gets inside, we'll talk about what he gets inside in a minute, he pulls that axe you saw in the trailer out of a dead carcass bone of what accounts to a lizard. And so as he's going, he's seeing more what we would call man-made shit. So he's seeing all this stuff that seems to be man-made, but there's no man there. So his ancestors built a castle into a mountainside, and in the center is the power source. So when he gets inside, he pulls that axe out of the carcass. It glows slightly, and as he gets closer to the center, he grabs the axe and sits down at this what looks like a makeshift throne. And then the axe starts glowing and blinking and, getting excited. And the closer and closer he gets to this area, it gets more and more exciting. So he puts the axe down in a shape that fits that axe. So this giant ring of axes starts glowing in the shape and design of a lizard, or something that looks similar to those lizards that they fought and or Godzilla. They don't stay long because the activation that calls Godzilla, which is right above them in Hong Kong, and he shoots his breath straight through the ground, putting a hole between the center of the earth and the top of the earth. Okay, that's not crazy, even as Godzilla's standards go. So what ends up happening is he starts to destroy this castle or stronghold with his breath. And Kong starts climbing up the hole, and the other folks start speeding up the hole with the only ship that can fly down there, or through the portal, because what happens is when you go through that portal, just like Godzilla's portal, this is similar to it but takes it to a different world. Anyway, the gravity instantly turns on you, and then turns again. So you go, and only one ship can do it and handle that kind of gravity shift. So they use that ship, which can power Las Vegas, and you'll find out where that comes in later. They fly out the hole. Then Godzilla and him go at it. They duke it out, and conveniently, Godzilla beats him. Don't get me wrong, Kong puts up a badass fight, and so does Godzilla, but Godzilla wins. Funny. So he stands on Kong's chest, as Kong is damn near dead, looks him dead in his eyes, he screams at him, like, I don't know. So Kong screams back, and they sit there for a minute like that, and Kong, he lets go of him. He gets his foot off and starts walking towards, the apex facility. And Kong tries to get up and then collapses and just lays there. Then as Godzilla gets closer to the facility, which is inside a mountain, that's where Mega Godzilla is. Now that they have the power source, that power is Godzilla, they give it to Mega Godzilla, which is controlled by Monster Zero through telepathy of a human. But it's still Monster Zero's brain in there. So what ends up happening is the same thing that happened in Pacific Rim 2. The monster got fully charged, so then he took over. He killed the guy that created Mega Godzilla, then fried the pilot's mind inside the skull of Monster Zero and took over Mega Godzilla. Then started destroying the mountain, and I mean like the whole mountain. Destroyed it and came out to fight Godzilla and I guess Kong. But I don't think Mega Godzilla or Monster Zero knew Kong was there and or still alive. So the little girl walks up to Kong, laying on the ground, apparently dying, puts her hand on the ground and feels his heartbeat slowing. So they're like, how the hell do you jumpstart a giant gorilla's heart? Oh yeah, that's right. Ship with enough power to power Las Vegas. See where that comes in? So they take the ship, they fly it on Kong's chest, and they set it to explode with like a electric bomb. So the bomb blows, restarting Kong's heart. Kong stands up, and then he grabs the axe and he goes after Mega Godzilla. After the little girl tells Kong, Godzilla's not the enemy. I promise you, not the enemy. That's the enemy, being Mega Godzilla. So Kong says basically, okay. He goes and joins the fight with Godzilla against Mega Godzilla. They're fucking beating the crap out of him. But they're still losing. So, like I didn't tell you, during Kong's fight with Godzilla, he had the axe. He's trying to chop away, and it absorbs Godzilla's breath and powers it to be stronger. So he was using it on Godzilla in the Godzilla battle, but it really wasn't enough to take out Godzilla. Sorry, Godzilla fans know Godzilla beats up everything that exists. So he's beating the crap out of Mega Godzilla with this unpowered axe. And Godzilla's on the ground, like essentially out of commission. So he gets up, he looks, he sees the battle going on, he's like, "Hoo," and he shoots out that fire breath right at the axe head in Kong's hand. So then Kong starts chopping the shit out of Mega Godzilla, cuts off the arms, the legs. Now, this is one hell of a fight, but this is artistic license all around. The concepts are the same. I don't recall King Kong and Godzilla working together. And I don't recall Godzilla defeating Kong either. They've constantly had a rivalry, beat the crap out of each other, then went each other's off separate ways. From all the times I've seen them connect. This time, Godzilla could have just killed him. He had his foot on his chest. Kong was not moving. And Kong couldn't even build up that extra bit of energy to climb out of that if he saw him, light up. Godzilla screamed, he screamed, and then Godzilla got off him and walked away. I've never known Godzilla not to finish his opponent if the opportunity comes. But I think that was political. Because if we were to see them kill Kong, I think it would piss us off. Because I'm a Godzilla fan and a Kong fan. So you can't kill either one of them. So if they killed Kong, this would be super problematic. So of course, they're both good guys and they're both quote-unquote the stars and heroes, so they couldn't kill either one. So Godzilla makes sense that he wasn't even after Kong. Kong was just in his way. You get in Godzilla's way, he comes after you, doesn't care. Though, this doesn't make any sense either. Because I skipped over a part on purpose because one does not equal the other. So, they transport Kong from the facility in order to try to find that power source. They're going across the ocean with ships and cargo and all that shit. And, of course, Godzilla comes out of nowhere. And he beelines straight for Kong. Destroying ships in his way, because they're in his way. But beeline straight for Kong. They go at it. Kong almost drowns. And then Godzilla climbs up and onto the aircraft carrier. They duke it out. And the way you look at it, Kong almost suffocates to death. Except they drop death charges that apparently disoriented Godzilla. Now, they weren't headed to Godzilla. They were specifically headed away from him and nowhere near his zones. So why did he come after them? Because of Kong. So now, he didn't finish them because they turned off all their ships. And God's like, okay, I'm done. And he leaves. But wait a minute. Was he literally went around the world because your ships were making noise? What about the other ships in the sea? What about them? He went there to take out Kong. But that defeats the rest of the movie. Because the rest of the movie, he's only after one thing, and anything in his way, he goes after. They were nowhere near him, or his goal, which was Apex's facilities. They were nowhere near those facilities. They were in the middle of the fucking ocean. So why did Godzilla go after him? That's just a scene, honestly, to have a battle. And I respect that. As many battles as possible, please fight it out. That's what it's all about, right? But it doesn't go with the storyline, yo. It has absolutely no point for Godzilla to go all the way over to them, destroy most of their ships, duke it out after going directly after Kong, then leaving because they turn off the power to their ships. Now, I will give you that during that same scene, Kong looks at Godzilla, and Godzilla looks at Kong, almost in the submitting face, like Godzilla won, so then Godzilla would leave. I understand that. I really do. But what was the fucking point in him going out there to begin with? It doesn't play with the rest of the storyline. There was no reason for Godzilla to go after Kong. Now, if he went after Kong because he sensed Kong and wanted to battle Kong, fine. In the habitat that they had him in, why didn't Godzilla go to the habitat to fight Kong? He could sense Kong, and you couldn't have stopped him. Then we go to another dirty stone. How come in Skull Island, Godzilla didn't go after him then? Okay. And what about the 10 or 20 years that Kong was there? Because Kong was like a teenager, they called it, or a young man, in Skull Island. Where was Godzilla? And between the 30 years that Kong to the Kong today, it's supposed to be 30 years later. Why didn't Godzilla go there for the 30 years? And it even stated in one of the records, and even I think it's the book, says that the monsters are supposed to be headed to Skull Island, which they never even showed up in the movie, except in little pieces of the old movies where Godzilla fought them and killed them and marking them down as defeated. But he never went to Skull Island, and Kong wasn't on Skull Island. Okay. So, yeah. So there's a lot of loopholes in the timeline of this story. They don't tell you exactly how old Godzilla is, but they do tell you in the essence that Kong and Godzilla aren't that much different in age. So that means Kong and Godzilla had to battle before, or known about each other, one or the other. So why did he never go to Skull Island and fight? They would have duked it out then. You want to tell me and argue that, oh, they didn't do that because he's not about the battle. Okay. So then why did he swim all the way over to Kong, who is headed in a different direction and nowhere near Godzilla and nowhere near Apex facility, to fight Kong? So, you can't tell me in the facility or on Skull Island he wouldn't have wanted to fight him. He knew he existed. They can feel each other, and apparently they understand each other's language. And not sign language, their actual screams and yells, they know what they mean. So there's some loopholes in the history, the loopholes in the story, and I really didn't want to go back to it because I think it was pointless, the story. It really was. It was just another fight scene. But I had to do it because we all love the fight scenes between the Titans. So they defeat Mechagodzilla, and he sits down and relaxes. He drops the axe and chills. Then all of a sudden he hears Godzilla scream. When doesn't Godzilla scream? And he gets up. He looks at Godzilla. And Godzilla looks at him. So he says, "Rawr, rawr," and then he drops the axe. It powers down, and Godzilla takes off. Durr. That's what Godzilla always does. It's been established that Godzilla wasn't randomly attacking and wasn't attacking to attack humans, attacking Apex because it sensed Monster Zero. Now, we'll go to conundrum number 5452.2. Why didn't Godzilla go in and finish off Monster Zero's skull in the cave that was controlling the robot? He should still be able to sense it inside the cave that the robot came out of. Another conundrum. So, I don't get it. On that note, please subscribe and like and tell me what you missed, what you want to hear. You want to redo the story so it's more fluent. Whatever's clever. But on that note, I'm going to step off. There's a lot of details that's still missing. Like where are all the other monsters? I didn't get into it, so I can't get into it. But you got some questions or some complaints, or want me to redo this so it has one flow, let me know. On that note, peace.